What up? So, I'm usually never live on Sundays, especially not on this page, and I don't even know where this one's gonna go. I don't even know how this is gonna be. We may have nobody on here because it's Sunday. Nobody needs to be on. And this is more. I'm kind of recording this one for myself, right? This video is not so much for you. It's more for me as a. What up, Sarah? Sawa? This is more of a video for myself, right? Because I look at it and this is the last couple of days. It's the last Sunday. It's the last weekend of this decade, of this year. On my personal page, I'm going to do a live here as soon as I'm done here, kind of my spiritual thoughts, right? But here I'm going to do straight up business, right? So if you saw the title of this one, the title of this one is The Power of 365 Days, right? Power of 365 days. So most of you, if not all of you, should be writing down some goals, should be setting some goals, should be reviewing goals that maybe you made after convention, right? If you're tied to Paparazzi, or if your business runs on a cycle like Paparazzi, you might be reviewing your goals and saying, what have I accomplished the last 6 months? Where am I at? But I'm talking about the calendar year, right? That's also what the Bling Boss sets on, and some of the other awards in my company. And you know, I think about it because I've received some very nice, and I appreciate it. I'm going to try not to be emotional in this one. So I've received some very, 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 very thoughtful, very methodical, very appreciated messages about me, about my videos, about my trainings, about that I do them for free, that I leave them out there, that they're public, that I just do them, right? And it's interesting because my friend Angela Drake, who I love dearly, hey, she's popped on. Look, she just popped on. So Angela Drake, who I love dearly, sent me a message, and it was very personal. I just said basically that she loves seeing my own transformation, right? And kind of where I sit and the influence that I'm having on people, right? And it's funny because my friends are my friends, and they keep you humble, right? We all need those friends. If you saw today, I posted kind of my 20 items that are kind of my mantra for coming up for 2020, right? I haven't had my kids the last couple of days. They've been at their mom's house. And it's given me some time to sit and reflect. It's given me some time to sit and think about stuff. What do I really want, right? Who do I want to be? So some of the videos that you guys have seen the last couple of days from me are very much for me. They're about me, and they're about my thought process, and they're about what I'm thinking and feeling right now, currently, right? And so I sit here on this Sunday night. That's why I said this video is it's not for you, right? It's more for me as a record, right? I love those Facebook memories, how they pop up. And this is more so that in a year I can look at it. So that in a year I can see where I've been. That I can see how my hair's changed, if I'm shaved or if I'm not, right? So that's what this video is more for me. But you guys are welcome to watch myself basically journal my life of the last year. And I titled this The Power of a Year, right? The Power of a Year. Power of 365 days. Because so often, my friends, we live our lives day in and day out, right? You wake up, get kids ready for school, you go to work, you come home, you try to do your side hustle, you try to do that stuff, you get shipping, invoicing out, you try to build, recruit, deal with life issues, homework, piano, horseback riding, skiing, whatever it is, right? And then we get dinner, homework, whatever, try to read a book, try to do something, personal development, and try to not feel like a complete failure. And then you go to bed, and then it starts over the next day, right? And that's how it is, day in and day out. And then all of a sudden the year goes by. And I remember as a teenager, I felt like years took forever. I felt like years took decades, right? And where I sit now, I'm like, holy crap, this year's gone, right? I think the older I get, the faster time goes, because I have so much to do. And there's so many things I want to do. And then I feel like my to-do list gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and I don't have time to do it because my kids are important and my business is important and I have church calling and I have these things, right? And so I look at it and I say, so many years of my life, I can look back and find a few things that were monumental, or a few things that meant a lot, or a few things that I truly felt like, bam, that year or that experience, man, that was a monumental time of my life, or I really grew, or I really became a new person, right? And so I look at it and I say, 365 days, my friends. So, what's up, Michelle Whitaker? How's Texas? I used to work with Michelle down in Texas. Michelle's like, Taylor, shut up. I heard you so much in the office. I don't even hear you. But I look at it and I say, 365 days in a year. And so many of us are writing goals, right? So many of us are writing goals and setting hopes for a new decade. And we're setting hopes for a new thing, right? And on my personal page, I'm going to get more religious. But, but here's what it comes down to, right? So many of you have seen my last 365 days, right? So last year at this time, my friend Sarah and I, and sometimes Melissa, and sometimes Christy would go live, right? It was sporadic, if anything. It was random as anything. I had 0 to 3 viewers ever. I would give away stuff if I hit 3 viewers. I rarely sold stuff. We were laughing about this the other night, guys. I apologize to anyone who bought from me a year ago, because there were times, you can ask Sarah, she'll verify this, right? There were times last year, because at the time I was just trying to survive my life. And there were times that I would do a live and we'd either have nobody or whatever, or somebody would claim something on the replay, right? Because that's when I would do replay shopping. Someone would claim something on the replay and Sarah would call me and say, Taylor, you sold 2 rings. I was like, yeah, screw it. Who cares? Like 2 days later, someone claimed something. I'm not going to ship it out. I'm not doing anything. And I wouldn't even respond. I wouldn't. And sometimes my friends would say, hey, I claimed something from a live a while ago, but I never, like, how can I pay you? And I was like, oh yeah, I don't know, right? I don't know. I didn't have PayPal. I was like, I don't know. Do you do Venmo? Whatever. And I made, so the month of December last year, because I just looked in on my little record that I kept. I made $100. I made $100 last year in sales, right? And it was dumb. It was dumb, right? I made $100 last year in sales in December, and personal sales. And then in January, right? I still can't. Last Christmas was hard. It was the first Christmas after my divorce. It was the first Christmas I didn't have my kids. It was a really hard time in my life, right? Very, very low. My self-esteem was 0, right? A lot of people who I thought were my friends walked away after the divorce, and I felt very alone, right? I had Sarah, Melissa, and Christy, and a couple other friends who were cheering me on and saying, you can do this, you got this, you got this. Of course, I had my mom. And even I think at the time, my brother was kind of like, he's a jackwad, what's he up to? And then in January, I went to the Dominican trip, and I actually wasn't going to go. And then I thought, no, I need to go. I need to make my face present at Paparazzi events. So I went there, and my good friends, the Howards, kind of included me in stuff, and we created this little group, Very Tan Fan Man group. Those of you who are there, you know who you are, Very Tan Fan Man group. My life changed in the Dominican, and I had conversations with people. I had spiritual conversations with people. I had business conversations with people. I listened to my brother. I listened to Misty, listened to Shani, listened to Ryan. We gave service. We did things. I spent time at the beach. I relaxed. I talked to people who I was afraid to because of like the divorce and because of like history of paparazzi. And I found out that there's some amazing people in this company. Right? And Ashley, you've heard stories. Very Tan Fan Man group. It's a tight group, and that was formed there in the Dominican, right? And those friendships have become bonds. And from there, on my way home, I was with Michelle Johnny, who's in Ecuador or somewhere right now. And we were flying home, and we were sitting in an airport, and I asked her, like, so how do you run your business? How do you do your stuff? And we had a very good conversation, right? Well, in the Dominican, Trent challenged me to go to sell. Well, he flat out said to me, dude, you need to step up your game. You suck as a leader, right? We're brothers. We can do that. We both have thick skin. We come from the same mother. And we're very honest and real with each other. He said, you've sucked. You talk a good game, but you need to show your team a good game. And he said, you need to be live and you need to be consistent and you need to start selling, right? So I did. And he challenged me to sell 100 pieces in a week. And I thought I was going to die. Die, right? Thought I was going to die. And I'm a little competitive, just like my brother, right? We're competitive by nature, by genealogy. Ask any of my cousins. We're all competitive, right? A lot of us are athletes. And so I thought, my brother throws out this challenge. There's no way in hell I'm not going to do it. If I have to walk down the street, if I have to sell to friends and family, I will knock on their door. And I did it. I sold 100 pieces in a week. So that was January 26th, after the Dominican, is when I started going live, right? And then February 1st, corporate threw out, it was right after that week. Right after that week, corporate threw out the challenge, or Trent, whatever, to sell 500 pieces in the month of February. And I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, what? And so I was bound and determined to show myself that I could do it. Because back in the day, my ex-wife and I, when we'd go do a show, we'd sell 500 pieces in an afternoon, right? So I knew it was possible. I just didn't know on Facebook Live if it was possible or anything, right? And coming back as looking like this, I didn't know if it was possible. And I did it. And in the process, my brother challenged me to go live every day for 90 days. And I started that live challenge, right? So January 26th, I started going live. I went live every day for 90 days. And some of you saw from day one, right? Some of you saw from day one. I had 0 people. I still have the book. I still have the book of my sales, because every day I wrote down what I sold. And there were several days I sold goose eggs. Mickey, the challenge was to sell 500 pieces in the month of February, which is the shortest month of the year. So the last week of January, he did a challenge to sell 100 pieces in that week. And then he turns around and says, okay, in the shortest month of the year, sell 500 pieces, which is more than 100 pieces a week, right? Anyway, so I did it. And some of you have seen me from that day one, from January 26th, right? And you saw me get on and have 0 to 3 people, to 5 people, to 7 people. No joke, I think I crapped my pants when I hit 10 people in a live, right? In a live, not just views, but in a live. I gave out a ton of jewelry, right? And then I had 15. And I was watching Stacy Chafee, and Stacy had like 500. And I was like, I hate her, but I love her. I hate her, but I love her. And I was like, how is she doing it? Well, I've been in this industry long enough. And so I reached out to a few of my friends. Rob Sperry's one of them. Lance Conrad is another one. John and Nadia Melton are another one. I reached out to them because I've known them for a long time. And I just said, guys, here's the situation. I just went through a divorce. You know I'm back here. Here's my position. Here's what I need to do. Here's how I need to rebuild. What suggestions do you have for me as a friend, right? And they all wrote me back, right? That's the cool thing about having friends in this industry that I do, right? And I reached out to some other ones. They know who they are. And I just said, give me some up-to-date pointers. And I started doing them. So like the Melton, I always talk about the Melton's ATM method. John said, if you do it every day, Taylor, your life will change. And so I did. I started doing it. I got better at it, right? I was sloppy at first. I was trying to figure it out and did stuff. My lives were sloppy. My lives weren't dialed in like they are now. But I was consistent. And I knew the power of consistency. I talk about it all the time, right? Nice. Who's on day 64 of 90 days? I had friends, my friends Sarah, Melissa, and Christy. On the days where they were dark days, my friends, I had some dark days, just emotional stuff, divorce stuff, custody issues, just emotional stuff, right? After a divorce. Days where I was literally in bed in tears. And like, screw it, I'm not going live today. There's no way I'm gonna go live today. Nope, not happening. And my friends would say, Taylor, you threw out this challenge and you're starting to get followers. You have to go live and do one piece. Go live and do just a quick showing of like your hands with rings and do something, right? And there were times I would go live at 1 o'clock in the morning because I had to like pull myself together, right? And I'm here to tell you, I will be forever grateful. You see my eyes are getting a little puffy, a little bit teary. I'll be forever grateful for those friends, not just for their support, but for their kick in the pants, saying, hey, dipshits, you said something, go do it, right? And so I would do it. And I remember there were times Sarah would send a message and be like, it's 11 o'clock, you haven't gone live, are you okay, what's going on? Or Melissa would say, Taylor, it's midnight. People are waiting for you. And then they started getting people messaging them like, is Taylor okay? Is Taylor okay? And I'm here to tell you, I say that all the time, you guys joke about it, but I'm here to tell you what that did for me is monumental for myself, right? What that did, and I always joking to say that my late night ladies are my therapy, but it's true. 100% true, right? I'm just gonna tip this down because I'm sitting back now and relaxing like the Fresh Prince. And it became my therapy through a very hard, dark time. And there were times, no joke, y'all, no joke. I was in tears right before I went live, and I just would pound a rock star and say, let's go for this. You know, there were times, literally, Sarah, Melissa, and Christy could tell you, I was in my pajamas, in my bed, asleep. And they would call and wake me up and say, go live, and I was like, screw it. And then I would put a hat on, and half the time I was in my pajamas. But I did it. I showed up, even on my hardest days. And what that did was that taught me a very powerful lesson. That taught me a lesson that when you think you're alone, nobody cares and nobody's out there, you're wrong, right? Because not only did my friends want me to succeed and have success, right? They wanted me to hit that 90-day goal. They wanted me to be able to say, I went live 90 days straight, right? They were cheering me on. They wanted that success for me, truly, right? And they would sacrifice their time and their efforts. But those of you who would come on my lives sacrificed your life for me. You were there, you were present, you made comments, you became my friend, you accepted my new names because I couldn't say your name. I couldn't say it properly. And so I renamed people. I was myself. And through this process of 365 days, I lost my hair. That was a funny time of life, man. I basically had a nervous breakdown. And life got real, right? And my hair fell out in like 4 days. My beard got all wispy and my life was out of control. And I was trying to hide everything, right? Trying to hide everything. And I couldn't. My body was freaking out. My brain was shutting down, right? But I loved what I did. I loved what I did every single day, right? It was a lot of stress, and a lot of you know, like I sucked at invoicing and I sucked at getting shipping done. But I loved to go live and I loved to sell. And everyone's like, you need to get an assistant. And I couldn't get an assistant because I'm a weird single guy who lives in my house by myself with my kids. And nobody felt like it was appropriate to have a woman in my house working in my home as a single guy, right? I tried for 7 months, right? And even sitting in the hospital with the doctor who says, you will die if you don't reduce your stress. And I was like, I've got to keep going. It's my jam. It's what I do, right? And I did. And I dealt with it. I dealt with life, right? I learned to let some stuff go. I learned to let a lot of emotional baggage go. I learned that there's times you truly have to take time for yourself. But giving up isn't an option. I learned that, and some of you, you've heard me get all kind of riled up in my lives, right? You've heard me get all riled up in my lives. I'm just passionate. I love what I do. I'll defend it and protect it. You want to come into my house of Paparazzi that I've spent 11 years being involved in, my house of Paparazzi that I've given my blood, sweat, and tears to. You want to come into my house of Paparazzi and you want to trash me, trash the company, trash the product, trash the founders who are my family. You better bring your game face on and you better bring some boxing gloves because I'll knock the crap out of you, right? So I may get heated and I may get passionate, but it's because I love it. And I will defend it and I will protect it, whether you're a consultant or not. And if you're a consultant and you want to trash me, trash my family, or anything tied to this company, because of mistakes you make, because of your laziness, because of anything, you better be prepared. You'll think Misty is a pussycat. And I know I have to face compliance. I know, because I face compliance. But I will always act in the benefit of the company. It's always on my mind. Because I, as my last name, and what everyone likes to point out is my last name, is the same as two of the founders. I don't take that lightly, and I don't take that without a grain of respect, right? Because they've worked and given more than I have. They've given more of their blood, sweat, and tears, and they've sacrificed more with their kids, right? And so I look at it and I say 365 days. Some of you are looking at your goals, and some of you are setting goals that you don't think you could accomplish. I'll be honest. Setting my goals last year, this was not part of it. Selling $175,000 in jewelry was not part of my goal. Getting on a live and having 332 people was not part of my goal. It wasn't. But it became my goal. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Because as things started to move and as things started to progress, my goals became bigger. My dreams became scarier. My work became dialed in, and it became my movement. In 365 days, some of the goals I set disappeared, never even accomplished them, because I set goals that were better. I set goals that were bigger. I set goals that had more meaning, right? So some of you are sitting there and you've done nothing, truly, in the last 365 days different. Been there, done it for years. For years. Ask my brother. He'll tell you I sucked for 5 years. He will. He will tell you that. In this business, right? I'm not Stacey Chapey's direct upline. She's like 10 below me or so. It goes me, Robin and Brittany, and Ashley Howarth, and a few other people over here. Sarah and Rachel Morgan and some other people. But you guys know Ashley Howarth's leg, that's Rochelle Beachy, that's Danielle Baker, that's, I was going to say Zoom Zoom Law. That's Stevie Weeks is all under Ashley's group. And then most of you are under Robin's group, right? They're my personals. So everyone who's below Robin is below me. And so the power of 365 days. A year ago, my goal was not to know 500 of you, but I do. I know you by name. I know you by picture. I've prayed for your families. I've cried for some of you. I've sat with you in hallways and hotel rooms. I've sat with you on airplanes and buses. We've laughed. We've cried. And I'm changed. My friends, I'm changed because of you. Not because of my success. I'm still sitting at the same rank I was a year ago. Nothing's new there. I'm still sitting as a fashionista, but I actually hit it. I hadn't hit it in 5 years. Right? So I look at it and I say, my success as a leader based on my rank hasn't shifted. But my success in who I am, in who I believe I am, and in who I know and who I want to become, totally different in 365 days. My confidence level in what I do, totally different. The style that I do it, totally different. My fears, totally different. The things that excite me, totally different, right? 365 days, y'all. I look at this and say, what are you going to be doing in 365 days? Are you going to be doing the same? Where you just float around, you go to work, come home, sort of not really work on this, not really do that, not really do much, and a year goes by. Because guess what? There's days that I feel that. Like I feel like nothing's really different. And then I sit down like the last 4 days that I haven't had my kids. I sit down and I look at my life and I say, it is so different. It is so different than a year ago. I have so many friends and so many people on here who I love, who I know your name. Well, sort of. I know the name I call you by, right? I've walked some of you down the aisle to weddings. I have held some of your hands at funerals. I have watched you cry tears when your friends or family members have passed away. I have celebrated joys. I have walked on the stage at convention with some of you. I have stood in line with you. I have learned from you. I have watched you. I have tried to learn how you do your things, right? I know your name, right? The whole Zoom Zoom law, if you want to know that. I didn't even know Carla's name. I know who she was. I knew she had a necklace. I knew she was a powerful, fierce leader. I didn't know Carla's name, right? I know Carla. She's a friend, a very, very dear friend. But it happened because she challenged me on knowing her name. And I didn't. And Ashley was there. And Stevie Weeks threw me under the bus and ran me over and ran me over and ran me over. And so I look at it and I say, some of you say, I want to meet you, Taylor. And it's funny because I look at so many of you and say, I want to meet you. One of my goals right when my wife and I were filing for divorce, like it was like the next week, divorce was going to be done. We were at the Elite Leadership Retreat in Park City. So this is like 2 years ago. And Stacy Chafee was there and I said, I want to meet her. I want to meet that person, right? And there's other people, other leaders, other people who are just like my friend Geraldine. I was like, I want to meet her. I want to meet that person. And when I go up and say stuff, they're like, you want to meet me? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I want to meet you. I was like, why? Right? And so I look at it and I say to you, who's to say that in 365 days, you won't have 325 people on your live saying, I want to meet you. I want to meet you. Not me. They're going to say, I want to meet you. But the only way they want to meet you is if you do something. If you're consistent, if you set an example, if you teach them, if you show them your life, and if you show them how to win. Because we all face ups and downs. I face them every day, right? Face them every day. But I believe in my 5 core beliefs. I believe in myself, which I found myself over the last year. I believe in this company like nobody's business. I believe in this product like nobody's business. Y'all, I wear this all the time. I believe in my team and the system, right? Whatever system you want to do. The Power 15 is what has built my inventory, right? Whatever you want to do. I believe in my system. And I believe in this industry. My 5 core beliefs have become so solid. So solid. You're not going to stop me. You're not going to deter me from my success. If you decide to quit, if you decide to go to another company, if you decide that you hate paparazzi, if you decide that you hate me or my brother or my sister-in-law or Shani or Ryan, you won't stop me ever. I don't care if you leave and go to another company and have massive success. I will cheer you on and I will clap for you. But I will keep grinding and I will take your sales that you left on the table and I will win bigger. Right? I don't fear failure. If you read the 20 things that I wrote, very methodical, very prominent in my life. Go read that post I posted today. Take it to yourself, apply it to yourself, change it, do whatever you want. Share it, I don't care. Do whatever you want. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I'm going to tell you. 365 days sometimes blows by like that, and life hasn't changed. You haven't changed. But guess what? My last 365 days changed my life forever. Changed who I am forever. Changed my belief system forever. 365 days. And so I throw that out to you. As this year comes to an end, as it comes to a close, as a new one is upon us, I say to you, the sky is the limit. How hard are you willing to get off the ground? The Wright brothers learned how to fly. People found hot air balloons. People have learned to do things to leave the ground. And they have won. Will you be one that people look at and say, she was the first lady to fly around the world solo. Her name's Amelia Earhart. Will they say, oh my gosh, they created electricity, that's Thomas Edison? Will they say, oh my gosh, you're a Rockefeller? Oh my gosh, you're a Rockefeller. Oh my gosh, you're amazing in 365 days? Or will you still be sitting there watching TV, watching somebody else and not taking action and saying, I wish my life was different? Right? Because guess what? The sky's open. It's there for you if you want it. The goals, your success, your sales. There are so many people. I walked around when I was in Las Vegas at the National Finals Rodeo. I would say 99.9% of the people in that convention hall, which is massive and it goes on for 2 weeks, don't even know what paparazzi is. So don't tell me it's saturated. Don't tell me that it's filled up in your town. You're full of crap. You're just lazy and you're making excuses. Here's what I'm going to tell you. 365 days are before you. What are you doing today, tonight, right now, in the next 10 minutes to change your life? I have a friend who says a lot of bad words. He says a heck of a lot more bad words than I do. His name's, I don't even know that I dare say his name. I'll say his first name is Sean. I'm not going to say his last name. Somebody else can, Sarah or Melissa. He did a post today of himself like flexing the mirror. You know, he's ripped. He's the same age as I am. He's ripped. And he basically said, if you're a person who waits until 12:01 January 1st to say this is when I'm going to start, he's like, you're up. And you will never accomplish your goals because you wait. You don't take action. And I shared that with Sarah, Melissa, and Christy. I mean, they're friends with him too. His name's Sean Whalen. I love him. Lions, not sheep, is what he always talks about. He just said, if you're one of those people who waits for January 1st or January 2nd, you're messed up and you're never going to accomplish it because you wait. You wait for that tick, 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 tick. Okay, now it's gone. No, Sean, S-E-A-N. S-E-A-N. Yeah, his first name's S-E-A-N. Whalen, W-H-A-L-E-N. But, he says a lot of bad words. Be careful. But here's what I'm going to say as I end this and I wrap it up. 365 days is a very powerful thing. 365 days will change your life if you make it change your life, if you work for it. 365 days also mean nothing. You could be deeper in debt. I'm out of debt. Other than my house, I'm out of debt. I sacrificed. I worked hard. Reached some goals, right? I lost my hair. Had a nervous breakdown. Drank a lot of rock stars. But 365 days brought me closer to people I never knew. 365 days gave me an opportunity to share my core beliefs with people. 365 days gave me the ability to be consistent and to do the ATM method, add, tag, message, all sorts of new people. It gave me the opportunity to meet people, to help other people join this company, to help other people join other companies. It helped me, Vicky Beckham just posted his name. Go look at his post from today. He's selecting like this and he says some really bad words, but I agree with him 4,000%. He lives here in Utah. He's a really funny guy. Says a lot of bad words, So don't get me into trouble. 365 days will change your life if you're willing to do it. You have to let go of grudges. You have to let go of dumb customers who are consultants who don't pay stuff. It's your fault for selling to them. I'm just going to be honest. It's your fault for selling to them. Just know that they will be the ones who will stand you up. Learn to let it go. Learn to be a duck, let it roll off your back, and move forward. Block, delete, do whatever you need to. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Make 2020 your year where you don't hold grudges. Make 2020 your year where you say, you know what, I love you as a person. I may not have you involved in my business. I may not have you be allowed to be on my page, but I want you to win. And when that person who's been mean to you, who says horrible things about you, cheer for them. You know why? Because if they're successful, that means that they most likely are representing the company well. Here's the other thing I'm going to tell you. You all know how I feel about compliance girls, right? My mean girls. Even today, people have been messaging me saying, Taylor, so-and-so is selling this way, and so-and-so has 2 products in their booth, and so-and-so did this, and so-and-so said this about you, and so-and-so said that about you, and did you see so-and-so's comments? And, did you see that this person did this, and this person had their kid on their video, and this person, and then they say, this is the best thing, then they say, what should I do about it? Like, should I call compliance on turn them in? No, it's none of y'all business. They'll get caught. They'll get found out. Here's what you need to do. Stop worrying about them and go to work. Here's what you need to do, right? Here's some tough love, princess. The reason you're seeing that is because you're lazy. The reason you're seeing that is because they're being active and you're not. So, my princess, when you send me these dumb messages and I don't respond and you're like, I've sent you 5 messages, you haven't responded, because I'm looking at it going, you're stupid. Straight up, 100%, 10,000%. Stop worrying about other people in 2020 and start doing your thing. Who cares if somebody is being dishonest? That's not your problem. You're an independent consultant. You'd be you. Somebody else will turn them in, because there's people who do that. No, someone just typed my mantra. Nobody cares. Work harder. Who cares? It's not your business. Your business is not to be the police officer. Your business is not to be the tattletale. That's not your business. Your business is to sell $5 jewelry honestly. That's it. That's it. On my live yesterday, I talked about go and sell $100. If everybody in your organization sold and made a profit of $100 every single month, your life would be totally different. Right? So here's what I'm going to tell you. Stop messaging me saying, so-and-so did this and so-and-so did that. What should I do? Or could you call your brother? Could you send this to Misty? No! Do you know me? I'm busy doing my business. Stop sending me stupid messages in 2020, please, and thank you. Jesus will help me. That's him right there. In 2020, can you please stop worrying about idiots? I did a post the other day that said fools will take a knife and stab someone in the back. But smart people will take that knife and they will cut the rope that ties them to those fools, and they will be free of those fools. In 2020, can you please use that knife differently? That's what I'm going to tell you to do, right? That's what I'm going to tell you to do. Stop worrying about other people. Start focusing on you. Do you want to know why people follow me? Because I don't care. I'm in it to win it. I don't respond to messages. You want to know why? I have 470,000 messages of so-and-so did this, and what should I do? And oh my gosh, my upline sucks. And oh my gosh, my downline's not doing anything. You do you. Show them how to make $100 profit every single month. Your life will be different. Spread love and hope and happiness and set an example that people want to follow. Your life will be different. Stop following people to nitpick their life. I'm exhausted of it, of people doing it to me. Stop in 2020. Because 365 days, your life will be different. I promise you. Promise. So what's the power of 365 days? I don't know. Look at my life. You tell me. Am I different than I was 365 days ago? It's for you to tell. You tell me. Because you're the one who watches me. Am I different than I was 365 days ago? Are my lives different than I was 365 days? Is my influence different than 365 days ago? Is my message different than 365 days ago? You have 365 days in front of you. What are you going to do? Okay. Love you. Happy New Year.